Hey guys, welcome to the start of yet another project. This time it's going to be another Philco radio, a model 118. Now it's actually going to be 2-for-1 with this project. There's going to be this 118, which was sent to me for restoration, and it just so happens I have a model 118 in a different cabinet style, the modern cabinet console. Sort of a mini console, whereas I believe this is from a Tombstone. It certainly has an older style of knob on it, whereas mine has like the square hexagon knobs. I did a brief video on mine when I first got it. I will eventually get them both up on the workbench. We can compare them side by side. So if you've been watching my videos lately, you've probably noticed that I've been doing a number of restoration projects for others to make a few bucks. Well, it's nice to get back to doing one of my own sets while I'm working on this one. I figured it made sense to do both at the same time. Now, right off the bat when I opened this, I could tell this one was a bit rougher than mine. I don't know what the history is on this, but it's seen some work, and it's got a little bit of damage here and there. So let's see, what do we got here? Here's the original power cord. Definitely needs to be replaced. Try to reuse the old plug if I can. So let's get that out of the way. And here is a plug for the speaker. Similarly, actually, apparently it's been cut off. Definitely need to replace that wiring. Kind of crunchy. I do have the speaker. It's in a separate box. We'll look at that in a bit. So the other thing I noticed right away is that some of the tubes are missing, and one of the tube shields is missing. So there should be a shield over the 75 here. I don't recall if this tube was missing or if I tested it and it needs to be replaced. And definitely the 80 tube was missing entirely. This does have a shadow meter. Hopefully it's still good. I know that they are not much fun to rewind or repair if they are damaged, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Dial scale is cracked. We'll try to salvage that. I don't know if it got cracked on shipping or if it was cracked beforehand. Maybe a little super glue can help preserve that. Not in the greatest condition. It's got some fading and some dirt on it. If it's like the other Philcos I've worked on, you most definitely do not want to use any water-based cleaners on it, or it will take the numbering right off. Something else I noticed right away is this. That mangled corner there is where the filter caps would have been originally. So see in a moment if there are caps that have been mounted down below. I don't exactly understand what happened here. This has been bent at a right angle. This should be vertical, and then these two hoops would go around two capacitors that were in here. Since the caps aren't even here, I don't know why somebody would have gone ahead and messed with that. But as soon as I saw this, it got me thinking that I might be able to do something interesting with this. Now, I've already ordered up caps for this. I knew that this was going to be sent to me for a while, and I knew I wanted to restore mine, so I did some research on caps to use on these sets, and did some looking around, and ordered up a few of these, and I've used these on some other projects recently. What these are Arcotronics AC motor run capacitors. These are not electrolytics. These are, I believe, polypropylene film capacitors rated for continuous AC operation. These can handle a lot of AC current. They're designed to have a lot of AC current running through them to run a motor, so they can certainly handle a lot of ripple. It can also handle a lot of DC voltage, more than 450 volts DC like your typical electrolytic. But what I hadn't realized when I ordered these, wasn't really thinking. I just saw that, hey, they're nice and small. They the technology in these motor run capacitors is getting better and better. Not like the old days where they were big, nasty, oil-filled, some with PCBs in them. Nice little hermetically sealed plastic. Well, check this out. I think these may very well fit inside this hoop. If I get this bent up and unmangled and all that, I may be very well be able to mount both of these like so, with the two leads running down, and they'll get clamped in there. And I think that'd be a pretty nice, clean look if I can make that work. These are not electrically connected to anything as far as I know. I think they're just mounting studs. If I use this hoop, I don't even need them. I might even put like a decorative cap, acorn nut cap, whatever they call those things, over the ends of these to make them a little more decorative. Or if I really wanted to make them look like the originals, which may have been Mershons, or certainly there were metal tubes, could encase these in a metal tube with end caps on. But even just as that, I think it'd be a nice clean look. Alright, so let's see what we got underneath the hood. As I turn it around, I just realized something. I was thinking that this was wired into the chassis and this plugged into the speaker. No, it's actually the other way around. This plugs into the chassis and the wires run to the speaker. So I guess they've just been chopped off at the speaker end. Really big, hefty, beefy transformer on this. That's a pretty good power output. It actually has push-pull 42 outputs with a 42 driver. Huh. So it does not have new electrolytics underneath. Now, as soon as you see this, you may be thinking, hey, that's a new electrolytic right there. No, actually, believe it or not, that is original to it. I'm pretty sure that is too, because I've also got this in mine. And I can have the original service info right here. You can see that capacitor is right there. Doesn't seem to show the other one though, which would be right around in here. So it may have been added, but it's not. I don't think it's enough capacitance to filter the B plus supply. So I'm not entirely sure what that guy's all about. We shall find out as we work on this. So it's nice to have this original service info with the parts placement diagram, and of course I've got the other chassis to compare it to. Most of this to me looks original. Certainly these dog bones, these big old power resistors, those are original. And lots of fun big light blocks to recap. And here's a look at the schematic. 78 RF amp, 6A7 detector oscillator, 78 IF amp, 75 detector and first audio amp, 42 driver, and then 42 push-pull outputs. And there is the shadow meter down on the AGC bus, I believe. And we've got one of these fun diagrams here. I believe that is for this guy, so I think there's actually 4 capacitors inside of that with common negative ground. One. I only see 3 lugs. I think there may be some production run changes on that. And notice there's also a cap tacked in here. Mica. This is very likely a replacement. Looks like it's in parallel with one of these sections, so there may be a dried out bad section inside this cap. Somebody just put that in parallel. This guy down here looks like maybe 10 microfarad, 40 volt. So this might be the deal, is that in this maybe this is an earlier version, and instead of having a 4-section cap up here, it's 3-section, and this is the 4th cap down here. Because that looks pretty crusty. Yeah, it is a Philco part too, so that may very well be original. Alright, let's take a look at the speaker. Now, the owner said that the speaker cone had been damaged and appeared to have been repaired in the past, and the cone seemed really stiff. Well, yeah, for sure, I can see right away. It's got some patches on here. Not sure what that is. Might just be heavy-duty paper towel. And then, yeah, this whole thing was coated with something which could very well just be black paint. And the cone itself is still flexible, but that surround seems to be rock hard now, or at least a lot stiffer than I'm sure it had been originally. Still has a little bit of give, but sure not much. It's one thing to go over the cone and reinforce it a little by soaking some glue into it, because the cone is just, it works fine if it's fairly rigid, but you've got to have a flexible surround so the speaker can move up and down. That's why I got this accordion here. It's supposed to have some give to it. And yeah, boy, this sure does not have much give to it. We can compare it to my speaker and see how it goes. As far as replacing it, if it needs to be replaced, well, I might have something. Just occurred to me. When I was working on my Philco 15DX, I ended up picking up several pairs of speakers, and this sure looks familiar. And I think, well, hopefully they didn't glue it down to the rim, because on mine, I recall if you take out these screws, it's actually pretty easy to get this cone out. And you know, with the spider and everything, you can see these wires have actually already been undone, so you can just pull this whole thing out. You just take out the nut in the middle, the spider comes right out. Might be able to just swap the whole thing out with one of mine, or for that matter, just use one of my speakers. If they're the same, looks like it's H13. I don't know. We'll worry about that when we get everything else done. I mean, we have the power transformers going to get at this point. No point in getting ahead of ourselves. All right, so that is a preview look at an upcoming project. I'm starting to do some work on this. I usually like to keep several projects going at once because I'm waiting for some parts to arrive for airline radio. I've been working on output transformer and some rubber chassis mounts. So while I'm waiting for those, I'm going to start poking around with this.